Hello, you guys. This is Fabio. I'm coming back with another video. This video probably won't be too long here. I'm gonna give you guys a minute to kind of get loaded on here. Okay, guys, coming back with another video. Okay, now what I want to talk about this particular video, I promise I won't take a lot of you guys' time. I think I say that all the time. But here's the thing. I received an email about non-payment. People are not receiving their payments on time. And what else? Someone asked me about, oh, receiving cash payments. Like my subscriber said that the only way that the person said that they can take the account is if they accept just cash payment. The person don't want to cut them a check. They don't want to use maybe a credit card method or ACH method or any other method. They want to pay in cash. So I want to address these two things real quick. First, let's talk about dealing with non-payment. Okay. For the subscriber that emailed me about their client, I think she said she's 2 months late receiving payment from the one partner or whoever she has working for her, and she don't always have the money to cover it. She says she has a day job, right? So what wound up happening if she has to dip into the day job funds just to be able to pay her employee. So here's the thing, and it should never go 2 months. 2 months for me is very, very long, too long, okay? Now, I've never dealt with anybody just not paying. I have dealt with circumstances where people pay late, okay? So it's a difference. Now, here's the thing. You have to get those invoices. I generally tell people to get those invoices out by like the 28th or like the 30th maybe of the month, okay? Maybe the 27th, they give it about the 27th or 28th. 30th is kind of pushing it a little too late. I would say the 27th because most months are 30 days. Where it's 31 days. I like to give them a 2-day, frame where they can get the check prepared and have the check ready by the 1st. Most of us pick up the check on the 1st. Now, here's what I would suggest you guys do. And you may want to take a look at this. Is to start accepting credit cards. Okay, a lot of my clients, I've been able to get them to go the ACH method or use the credit card. Okay, a lot of these doctors, a lot of these companies, they have corporate cards and company cards and things like that, or they have their business check card, which is fine. Okay, so whether it's a debit card or a credit card, I accept all methods of payments. But I've been able and fortunate enough to have my clients just supply us with the credit card information, and then once a month we go ahead, which is on the 1st, we just can automatically debit that money from their charge card or debit that money from their account. You might want to take a look at that, or at least offer that. Okay, the service provider that I use is Card Service International. Okay, now it's a lot of them out there. A lot of them it's so competitive now that you're able to get a lot cheaper APR rate or a lot cheaper service charge rate than many other companies that's out there. Okay, you're competing with the Cash App, you're competing with all these different other formats and platforms to make payments. So it's not as difficult as you may think it is to be able to accept credit cards. If you want a little bit more information on accepting credit cards, then go ahead and email me at bookfabiohart@gmail.com. I can kind of give you some specifics. Drop your name and telephone number. Once again, you might want it. That way you just hold the card on file, and then once a month or on the 1st or the 15th or bi-weekly, however you doing your net, whether it's a net 15 or a net 30, you just go ahead and charge it automatically from their checking account, their check card, or the credit card. Okay, but for those that don't have that luxury, right, that still have to get the paper checks, we do still get paper checks, by the way. Not everybody do credit card. You have to make sure those invoices get out on time. That's number one. Number two, allow so many days. It's late, or it's considered late, right? So you kind of have that window between the 1st and the 5th to get your rent in. You're gonna have to pay the extra cost or whatever that case is, because you're going to be considered late. Okay, so you want to kind of give them like something like that. You want to give them that window. I know I do. Okay, now it's rare that people just don't pay. People that just don't pay and they do it on a consistent basis and you allow it, they're going to keep trying you like that. Most likely they're probably bad at managing their funds and they don't really necessarily have the money in the bank. Of course they wouldn't tell you that, but a lot of times, you know, just because you're in business and you got a nice building, nice facility, you got people working for you, don't mean those people are always getting paid on time, number one, and don't mean that the funds are actually there. Okay, so what you have to do is set up some type of system to recoup that, or to cover those funds. Okay, that's why I tell people the money that come in isn't your money. I don't suggest that you splurge. If you make it $5,000 a month, right? I don't suggest that you just splurge that money out. Okay, because $5,000, if not used to making it like I was, you would just go, just fuck it over, so to speak. Okay, you don't want to get to that point. You want to make sure that you have reserve. Okay, I have bills or whatever the case is, you still be able to make those payments. Okay, again, I make sure that I get those invoices out on the 27th or the 28th of each month. So by the 1st, that check should be ready. Now, a lot of people say, well, should I let them mail it in? Hey, how's it going? Hey, how's it going, Antoine? Hey, how's it going? A lot of people say, should I mail it in? Should I, have them mail it in, or should I have them, do it this way, do it that way? I would suggest you take the invoice to them, okay? And again, this is my system, guys. I do this with my contract. I do this with my bid. I don't like to send that bid through the email or, send it through the fax, because what happened when you get a call, and I'm gonna get right back on topic. I just want to kind of show you why I'm so adamant about dealing with people head first, dealing with people face to face. I find out I get a better result when I deal with them face to face. Again, for my people that's not a people person, you have to delegate somebody to do that for you. Okay, we're in the business where it's a people business. We deal with people, whether you're dealing with your employees, whether you're dealing with your potential clients or prospects. Okay, you have to deal with people. It's just no way around that. So if you're not a people person, I'm not sure, once again, I tell people this all the time, I'm not sure the cleaning business is for you. You might want to do an online business where you don't have to really deal with people on a face-to-face matter, right? You can put a bag up on eBay, sell balloons on Shopify, have these different stores and sites, and then everything is electronically done. You don't necessarily have to deal with people face-to-face. That might be the route that you go. Because in this business, you're going to deal with people. Okay, you're going to deal with, men. You're going to deal with women. You're going to deal with straight. You're going to deal with gay, right? You're going to deal with older. You're going to deal with younger, right? You're going to deal with different ethnicities, different cultures, different religions. You're going to deal with a lot of different things, okay? And unless you prepare for that, you're just not going to win. It's not going to be an easy task for you in this business, okay? But to hop back on as far as dealing with getting what's due to you, getting your money, again, make sure you get those invoices out. Make sure you get them out on time. Again, I would suggest that you take the invoice to them and you go to them to pick up the check, okay? Because, for an example, if you allow them to send it in, let's say you got a P.O. box or they send it to your home, the payment may be due on the 1st, and then they may send it out on the 1st. Okay, so you still got to let the mail go, 2 or 3 days, whatever it takes, before that check get to you, before you can even deposit that check into your business checking account. Okay, so again, if you're not going to go pick up the payment, have your wife, have somebody professional, right? You don't want to just send your son or send your daughter, right? You just want to have somebody that you can trust to pick up those payments. Okay, and the same thing with the invoices. I don't like to fax an invoice, email an invoice, because what'll happen, it'll get shuffled in the paperwork through the fax machine. They'll say they didn't get it and the check won't be ready. Again, this is my system. Other people might have their own way, but again, I believe that you should take the invoice to them and you should go to them to pick up the check, or designate somebody to do both, right? Designate somebody to pick up the check, somebody to take the invoice. That way you know the invoice got there on time. Also, do not give them the hard copy of any paperwork, okay? Or if you're going to give them a copy, I guess that really doesn't matter. Make sure you have a copy of all the paperwork. That's your contract. Don't give them the original contract. Okay, when they sign the contract, if they want a copy, some people don't want a copy, cool. If they want a copy, you give them a copy of it. The same thing with your bid. Okay, you need to have, a paper trail. You need to make sure that you have a copy of all of the paperwork. With your invoices, when you go ahead and submit the invoice, when you go and take that invoice to them, make sure you just already copied your invoice. You can leave yours at home, leave it at your office, or whatever the case is. Okay, you want to make sure you have a copy. The same thing you supply them with, you want to make sure you have a copy of it. Because inevitably, what had happened, if you gave them the original, they'll say, well, I don't have this, and or you didn't give it to this person, or this person lost it, or whatever. Now you have to go home and draw this thing all up again, right? But if you got a copy, you can always just make another copy and serve them another copy of it, right? Just make a copy of the copy you have and take it back. Okay, but it's very rare. Once I give the copy to, is either the assistant, right, the gatekeeper, or it's either the person, the contact person themselves. I give the copy to them. I want to put it in their hands, not leave it in the Dropbox that they designate. Okay, or if you have to leave it in the Dropbox, make sure you talk to the gatekeeper. Sometimes they allocate a box, in their facility, and you just come in and you just put the invoice in the little box or the little folder, whatever it is. On your way in or on your way out, you want to make sure you acknowledge with the decision maker, or you acknowledge with the gatekeeper that you stopped by. You was just dropping the invoice off. The invoice is in the folder, it's in the box. Okay, I'm trying to help you guys out, so you make sure you get those payments on the 1st, or you make sure you get those payments on the 15th. That payment, get that invoice out on the 12th or maybe the 13th. You allow yourself 2 or 3 days. Okay, get it out on the 12th, or you get it out on the 13th. So by the 15th, that check will be ready. Okay, the same thing. Any further questions about that, make sure you just email me, and I can call you up and talk specifically about your case or whatever you're going through. Okay, but I know how frustrating it is, because you got bills. Your bills is due on the 1st. You might have a car note. You have these different bills. You got people to pay. You got other, you might have to go grocery. You got different things on more than one occasion. Damn shit. And she's still been cleaning. So here's the system that I like to use. You give them the invoice, right? Again, you give them that 2 to 3 day window. On your contract or on the invoice or whatever the case is, you can put it on both. In wording in your contract, you can say, well, payment due on the 1st, we allow it to the 5th. After the 5th late, it'd be a $20 late fee, or however you want to do it, right? Because I do agree that if you're doing a great job and you're showing up to the site, that you should be compensated for it, and you should be compensated on time. Okay, for an example, it's like you supposed to clean this building on every Monday, and every other Monday you coming in on a Tuesday, which means when they come in Tuesday, they know the building wasn't clean, right? Because they come in, it's still atrocious from Monday. You didn't clean it Monday, right? They wouldn't like that. They'll be threatening to fire you. They'll be threatening to do all type of things at that point, right? So again, just like your staff, your staff is there on time. Your staff is cleaning the day that they're supposed to be cleaning, or you cleaning the day that you're supposed to be cleaning. Again, you have to hold them accountable. So the first thing that I would suggest you do, if they pass, let's say the 5th day, let's say you're billing on the 1st, your payment is due on the 1st. That's when you're supposed to get the check. Okay. If you go to get the check and the check isn't available, then ask them, when would the check be available? Or what time today will the check be available? Okay. And then if they say, well, it's running a little late, the person that's supposed to sign it isn't here, I'm not authorized to sign the check, you have to come back by 2 o'clock afternoon. Okay, then you just go back 2 o'clock afternoon. Okay. Me, I like to pick up all my checks between 8 o'clock in the morning and 12 noon, to be honest. Because by 2 o'clock, I want the checks to be in the bank. I don't want to have to wait till 5 o'clock in the evening to pick up a check. And if I do wait, it's just because I've been incredibly busy. I've been in a meeting. It's my fault that I'm picking it up late. Okay, but I don't want it to be the fault of theirs, right? I let them know on each, my invoice read the same way. The only thing that changes is the dates. Okay, if I'm billing you $300 a month, then that's what everything is going to look the same. The only thing that's going to change is the dates, right? The date of the billing, right? Or the date of service. If you itemize it, the date that you did the service on, right? Y'all have it itemized. That's the only thing that would change. It's the dates. That's the only thing that changed your mind. Again, the numbers are still the same. You go ahead and you get that into them. At the bottom or somewhere on there, you can specify that, bill is due, August 1st. Okay. But and you can also, mention that you give them to the 5th. After the 5th is considered late. And then state what the repercussions are for being late, if there's any. Okay. But again, I have a zero tolerance for being, 30 days late. I've never been 30 days late. Ever. I've never, ever been 30 days late. Now, what I like to do sometimes is I will call before I go. So if, like, today is the 1st, this is when we pick up checks, right? So which is the problem that, one of my subscribers having is the 1st, people picking up checks. They, this check is ready, that check is ready, but then you got 2 people who don't have the check ready, or they haven't paid in a couple of months. It should never, ever get that far. Okay. First, give them a courtesy call. Second, send them just a letter to follow up. Like, so if you do a courtesy call that you haven't received payment, and so many days go by and you haven't gotten a call from them, you haven't received payment, they haven't told you to pick up the check, or you haven't received it in the mail, or whatever the case is, then you send them a letter. Okay. First, you guys try this first. Phone, just a courtesy call. Then you give them a courtesy letter. If you have to send them another letter, that should be like your red letter. That should be like your urgent letter. That should be payment is due now. Okay. If they still don't send the payment, then you treat them how maybe somebody will do somebody with an eviction. They give them so long, and then next thing you know, you get the court notice where you got to show up for court. Okay. It shouldn't go that far, guys. It shouldn't go that far. But if you have to go that far, then again, that's why I say your paperwork need to be up to par. Paperwork need to be up to par, because if they sign that agreement, it's going to look very good in court. They might be mad you take them to court, right? Then they might do away with your service. It's fine, because you got to get paid. But it should never get to the court process, right? Because you don't want it to get there, because number one, you got to pay to file, right? File, the motion for the court, right? You don't want it to get that far, because that's coming out of your budget. That's coming out of your money, right? Now, then you get that back, maybe with court costs and stuff once you win the case, but you don't want it to get that far. So you have to stay on top of it. So the day of, do not be shy to ask for your money. Do not be shy to ask for your money. Okay. You can call. Hi, I'm Fabio with Hollywood Janitorial Service. Just a quick call. I just wanted to know if the check was ready. Right? I'm never shy about asking for the money, because I wasn't shy when my people showed up or when I showed up to clean the facility. Right? So if it's due on the 1st, you can give them a courtesy call. Okay. To see if the check is ready. Generally speaking, most times for me, the check is ready. A lot of times the check is ready the day before or a couple of days before. But they just, I know the pickup day is on the 1st, so I'll make sure that my people pick it up on the 1st. Okay, make sure that it's ready. Okay, so just to recap on early on the videos, and I'm going to get to part 2 about receiving cash payments. I'm going to get to that in a minute. To recap, you might want to look at accepting credit cards. Not PayPal, not Cash App, credit card. You will want to look into that, okay? Because you'll be amazed, even with your residential clients. Sometimes credit cards are the best way to accept payments for a lot of people, okay? Sometimes credit cards is the best way to accept payments for a lot of people, Okay, they'd rather give you your card and you just bill that on a monthly basis, and then they don't have to worry about it. Now, just because you bill them on the credit card don't mean you don't send the invoice, and you make sure you send that invoice off. Send the invoice off, make sure they get the invoice, but then on the first, you just go ahead, boom, charge the credit card. Okay, so that's step one. That's something that you can look into. Step two, the day of payment, if you're going to pick up the paper check, right? If you're going to pick up your payment, give them a call before you go. Because the last thing you want to do is go all the way over to a site. Give them a call to see if the check is there. If they say the check is there, then you or whoever you designate go out and pick the check up. Okay? So that's what I would suggest. Now, in the event that the check isn't ready, they might say, well, the person isn't here. Cool. Then you can call them on the second. Call them on the third if you have to. But you can give them up to the fifth day. Kind of like I say how they do with rent. It's due on the first, but then they give you to the fifth. After the fifth, it's late. You know, a lot of places, I don't know. Okay, so after the fifth, then you can have some type of repercussion for them being late. Okay. If after the fifth, you haven't received the payment, for an example, this is just hypothetical, you haven't received the payment, then you want to have a letter that's ready. This is part of your paperwork too, right? This letter should already be typed up, ready to go. All you have to do is sign off on it. Okay, like me, I already have that. I never have to use it, but I have that letter available. That's a delinquent letter. Okay, they delinquent in paying. Okay, so that's just like a courtesy letter or just a reminder letter, so to speak. Your next letter should be maybe a yellow letter on yellow paper or red paper, something that jump out, okay, to let them know, okay, this is urgent. Okay, we haven't received the bill. So this letter, the message, the tempo of this letter is going to be a little bit more harsher, right? You're not cursing, but they're going to understand you mean business in this last letter. Okay, so you get that letter out to them, and then you just follow up behind that letter. Again, I like to drop things off. I like to give it to them personally. Whether it's an invoice, whether it's a letter, whether it's a contract, whether it's a bid. We in the people business. We deal with people. I don't like to do the fax machine once again because that slows the process down. That slows the process. Well, let me go check the fax machine. Then they check it. Say, I don't see it in the fax machine. Now they got to look around the office and see who somebody pick it up by mistake, or who, you know, where did it go? Where's the agreement? Where's the estimate? Where's, you know, your invoice, right? You don't want to have to go through that. Just take it up there, right? Deal with them like people to people. Take it up there. Same thing with the email. If you email the invoice, unless they specify that, hey, the only way I want to receive your bid is via email, then go ahead and email. And then as soon as you email it and it says it's sent, allow 3 minutes. I'll say 3 minutes max. Call them. Hi, I'm Fabio Harbor, Hollywood Janitorial Service. I sent the email over. Did you get the estimate, or did you get, you know, the invoice? Whatever the case is, and then let them check right then. You can, if they say hold on, let me check, then, you know, hold on and let them check. Okay, because you know you just sent it. Don't wait a half hour. Don't wait at all. Okay, if they say they don't see it, tell them to check the trash folder or the junk folder, right, or spam folder. Okay, tell them to check, because sometimes when you send emails, I know I've done it, and people say, Fabio, I didn't get your email. They really got my email, but they just didn't check those other folders, and it wound up being in those other folders. So I'm kind of giving you guys, and, you know, help so you can save yourself time, essentially. Okay, so if you send an email and that's the way they like to receive the invoices, that's the way they like to receive the notices and things like that, then email. Other than that, if they don't specify a fax, they don't specify the email, take it to them. Person to person business. I'm trying to help you guys out, so hopefully this information that I'm puking in you, that you understand and you just take heed to. Okay, because it'll save you a lot of time. Same thing with contracts. A lot of the people, they don't get contracts because, one, they don't follow up, two, they don't ask for the sale, and B, they sending it in. They mailing this stuff in, or they faxing it in, or they emailing it in, and that allows them to stall. That gives them a time frame to stall. So by the time you reach out, if you wait 24 hours after you send it to them, and let's say you sent it via email, then a lot of times, well, I'm gonna check it right now. I'm about to go into a meeting and this and this and that. But if you take it to them, right, you'll be able to catch them right then and there if they're there. Okay, you'll be able to catch it right then and there if they're there. Okay, if they're not there, then you can leave it with the gatekeeper, right? If you feel comfortable, or you can just take it back. Me, I would leave it with the gatekeeper and then follow up immediately. As soon as I can, maybe the next day or whatever the case. Hey, I left it with Melissa at the desk, the reception. I just wanted to make sure that you took a look at the bid and, you know, see if you have any questions about it, right? But I like to take it in and I like to deal with them. If they say, Fabio, if I say, well, I'll go ahead and I'll get this bid prepared for you. I get this bid ready for you, and I'll make sure you have it tomorrow by 9 a.m. When I say I make sure you have it tomorrow by 9 a.m., I didn't specify that I was going to bring it. I didn't specify that I was going to fax it or whatever. I just say I'll make sure you have it tomorrow by 9 a.m. If they say, great, yeah, just make sure, you know, it's in my hands or it's in my office by that time, great, I'm going to be there because I want to make sure, number one, if they have any questions, we can go ahead and get this ironed out right now. So when I bring it in, hey, this is the bid, right? This is the invoice. If they have any questions, you don't want them to stall because you need that money to come through, right? You need that check to be ready. Again, you need them to go ahead and sign the agreement. Again, you want them to go ahead and sign the agreement, but you have to get past the estimate part. They have to accept those numbers before you can even get to the agreement standpoint, okay? Once they accept the numbers, and another thing, ask, when would you like for us to start? If hired, when would you like for us to start? However you word it, you have to ask for the sale. You have to know when they want you to start. So many people, I say, well, they call me or they email me and I talk to them. I say, great, I'm glad to hear. Yeah, Fabian, I'm so happy I got it. I said, great, when are you starting? Well, what happened was the guy said that he was going to give me a call back. I said, well, did you even ask, you know, when, you know what? I totally forgot, man. I didn't even think. Shit like this, you can't forget. Shit like this, it's like going to work in the morning and you forgot to take a bath or you forgot to shower, right? You're not going to forget that. Okay, so again, you have to stay on top of this. I'm trying to help you guys help yourself. I want you to get to the money and I don't want you to lose the money. I'm trying to help you in dealing with delinquent clients. I'm trying to help you, you know, dealing with your agreements. You want to ask for that sale, okay? Helping you with your estimates. Okay, so when you put that estimate in, again, take it to them. I'm a big fan of that. Most people say fax it over, email it. Great, if that worked for them, cool. For me, I want to make sure you've seen it, and if you have any questions, I can answer it right here and now. And then ask them, okay, when would you like for us to start? You bring the agreement. That's why I tell people to have these forms already in the car. That's why I travel with, you know, the business cards and flyers and my agreements and the estimate breakdown in case I got to do a bid in a car or something like that. I have all of that paperwork. Yes, I have it here. Yes, I have it in the office in Tilly, but you have to have it with you because you never know. You can walk in the building today on a door-to-door situation, do a walkthrough the same day, and they might ask you to start tonight. And you got to be able to write that up, right? You want to be able to write that up. So if you have those forms with you, it's nothing for you to go out in your car and sit there and just draw it up, write it up. Okay? So again, I know I got kind of off topic, but again, all of this stuff kind of link in with each other. So hopefully you guys taking notes on this and you really understanding what it is I'm trying to convey to you. Okay? If you have any further questions, you can always email me at bookfabiohart@gmail.com. Now, let me move forward to accepting cash payments. I had somebody ask me, Fabio, they said that they didn't want to hire me unless they can just give me cash. They want to give me cash payments. They don't want to give me a check. I know I got to pay taxes and stuff like that. Is that professional, or should I take that, or how should I deal with that? Me, my entire time of cleaning buildings, I've only had 2 people suggest to pay me cash. And the reason I think they suggest to pay me cash is because they didn't want to deal with the taxes that come out of that, right? That they have to pay. Like, you know, like if I gift you something, I give you, you know, money, I gift it to you. It's a chance you don't have to worry about taxes, right? Like if you pay your employees, you pay them cash, then in their mind it's under the table. They don't have to pay taxes on it. And then with you, it's no paper trail behind it. But see, if you pay them check, you got a paper trail with the bank and this and this and that, right? So it's a paper trail thing. Me, I like the paper trail thing better, but I have had people just pay me straight cash. I'm talking about like 900 bucks cash, $1,000 cash, and that was just for, the service of the account. Okay, so however you deal with it, I wouldn't tell you not to report it or to report it. However you deal with it is how you deal with it. Okay, but I wouldn't turn it down. Okay, I wouldn't turn it down. But at the end of the day, they have to at least be on the agreement. So if they're gonna pay me cash, it's not like, well, they don't have to sign my agreement. It's not like they don't have to sign off on the estimate. They have to agree to the estimate. Um, and then they can pay me cash. Okay. Now I don't prefer cash, but I wouldn't turn it down. And that's just me. Okay. But I have to have some type of written agreement, which is your agreement or your contract, whatever you want to call it. I have to have them binding somewhere. Okay. So if they're going to pay you cash, at least have them on paper on agreement. Okay. Now, again, once you get the money, however, if you report it to the government, however you do it, is that's on you, right? It is on you, right? It's kind of like, I can't use the lottery because that's a system, but Pierre, you can contact me via email. bookfabiohart@gmail.com. BOOK, F like Frank, A like Apple, B like boy, IOHART @gmail.com. bookfabiohart@gmail.com. BOOK, F like Frank, A like Apple, B like boy, IOHART @gmail.com. That's how you can contact me. When you email me, if you want to talk to me personally, Pierre, put your number in there and my assistant to get that over to me, and I'll personally give you a call, and we'll go from there. Okay. But hopefully you guys understand this with as far as accepting the cash payment. Okay, I wouldn't turn it down, but I would prefer, either accepting it by credit card or I would accept the check form, right? That way I can have a report of the revenue coming in, because see, I keep track of, every single office that we clean. I keep track of that. I keep track of how much they pay, how much. This is what I used to do in the beginning, guys. Hopefully I'm not jumping all over the place. I'm just letting you guys know because it made sense to me. When they paid me in the very, very beginning, all my contracts, I'm talking dating back to 2012. When they paid me, before I took the check to the bank, what I did is photocopy the check. I'm going to say that again. Before I took the check to the bank, what I did was photocopy the check and I put it in its own folder. So let's say, for an example, I was working for ABC law firm. I would have a little vanilla folder, those little flat folders, and it would say ABC law firm. And everything dealing with that, the contract, the estimate, all of their paperwork would be in this one little folder. And then every time I get a check from them, before I take that check to the bank, I make a physical photocopy of the check. Put the check on a copy machine, get a copy of that, and then I turn the check in, let it clear the bank. That way I know I did receive this check, all the information, and I was paid what I was supposed to. That's how you can kind of keep a record. It worked for me early on, in building my system, and I would suggest you guys do that. That way you know what you're making. So even, let's say for 12 months, right? They pay you monthly, right? So you're going to have 12 checks basically from them. That way at the end of the year, you can kind of add all of this money up, all of this revenue up, and then it'll help you with your bookkeeping, right? It'll help you with your bookkeeping. So whether you keep your records on a weekly basis or a monthly basis, you can always pull those reports, right? You can pull those things. You can put it into a spreadsheet. You can put it into a database on your computer. I'm not saying that, but it'll make it much easier if you make that copy and then input it into your computer, right? And then you can kind of keep a log of what everybody paid you, itemize it, right? 1, 2, 3 mortgage company, ABC dental office, whatever, right? You can kind of keep it all itemized that this is the check. Now, if they pay you cash, it's hard for you to, you see what I'm saying? It's hard for you to kind of keep a record of that. You know that they paid you, but it's hard for you to keep a record of that, right? So again, I only had that happen just, a few times where they pay me cash. those people wound up having financial problems, and we no longer clean for them because they went out of business, right? So those particular clients I don't have anymore. But it's up to you if you want to accept cash. Okay, I wouldn't tell you not to accept it, and I wouldn't tell you to accept it. I just gave you my stilo, so to speak, on how I deal with that. Right? I just gave you my, how we work with that. Okay. Again, I like to have the paper trail because I like to account for everything. So when I go and check the records, I check the folders, I check the information. I can either go to my database on the computer and say, okay, yes, I've been paid this, and this is what I made from this particular company through the course of the year. Okay. And then you still have the backup copy, your photocopy. Say something happened to your computer, boom, your computer crashed, you spill water on it, boom, everything is destroyed. You still have the paper copy. I'm anal about that. Okay, so I'm kind of giving you guys my system from a more administration side. This conversation kind of went another way, but I think it'll be very, very helpful for you guys. Okay, and it worked for me, and I'm sure it'll work for you. So that's how I would handle the cash payments. That's how I would handle with people paying late. Again, you give them a courtesy call. Your first call should be to see if the check ready. So if you're billing out on the first, you call them on the first. On the invoice, you should state around the time that you're going to pick up. Like on mine, I state check pickup time 12 noon, whatever the case is on the invoice, right? And it's on every single invoice, right? It's just part of my invoice. Okay, check pickup 12 noon. So that let them know by 12 noon, I expect the check to be ready. I'm going to be there by 12 noon. Okay. So even if you get there after 12 noon because you picked up other checks, so it's kind of after 12 noon, that check should be ready because you said the check pickup time is by 12 noon. So it should have been ready by 12 noon. Even though if you got there by 2 o'clock, it still should be ready, right? You're just late picking it up. Okay. So you just specify that right there on your invoice. Okay. When you invoice it, but make sure you turn that invoice in on time. If you turn that invoice in late, your check is going to be late a lot of times. Okay. Especially with companies that don't deem the cleaning company to be that important. There's a lot of companies and corporations out here that don't deem the cleaning. They like the building, the facility look good, it smell great, everything is put together, but they don't deem the cleaning company to be important at all. So you last on a totem pole as far as them cutting a check. You don't want it to be like that. And if it is like that, you do want them to put some respect on your name. Okay, you want them to put some respect on your name. So, no problem, PA. You want them to put some respect on your name. And in order for them to put some respect on your name, you have to put respect on your own name, right? You want to handle it in a professional manner. I know your attitude can get there. Trust me, I've been there. When people paid me late, okay, I never get to 30 days. This lady said she's back 2 months and she haven't received payment and she's still been going. I told her, you need to place a phone call to them or send them an emergency letter now. Today, right? Who decides the payment type? The customer. You can offer different payment types. You can let them know we accept credit card, we accept check, however, we accept Cash App, whatever. I wouldn't say Cash App. That's the kind of ghetto to me. If you ask me, it's more like it. You're helping your friend. I wouldn't use it for a business sake, right? But I would let them know what method of payments you accept. Okay, and then you ask them what payment method would they prefer. I would do it that way. But I would say I would kind of try to push, if you can accept credit cards, if you have the means to accept credit cards, I will push you towards that because everything will run a lot smoother. They don't have to worry about sending the check or getting the payment together. You don't have to worry about going to pick up the check. You can do it, as a matter of fact, from your home at your computer, key it in. That's we use a software program with the online terminal when we do key in transactions. We don't have the swipe machine when we accept credit cards. Okay, the company Card Service International or Card Service International. What we do, we have a portal online. So once we get that, we invoice them. Okay, we still got to send that invoice out, but we have the credit card information on file. Everything is computer generated. So let's say ABC company, da 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 da. We're gonna key the card in, the expiration date, the last 3 digits on the back of the card. Boom, the total dollar amount. Boom, submit it. Right then and there, it's gonna tell you if the card was accepted or if the card was declined. Okay, so if it's accepted, Boom, you have nothing to worry about. They got the invoice, you send the invoice. 1 second, Tony, I see you. I'm going to hop right to it. I got you, I swear. Stay with me. Right then and there, you will be able to say, okay, boom, it went through. 24 hours after that, or by the next morning, depending on when you did the transaction, a lot of times you can call your bank, the 800 number, listen to the automated machine, or you can log in on your bank account, right? Put your banking information in, log in through the internet, and then it'll tell you transaction such and such. It was deposited at such and such a time, da 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 da. Or you can call and then it say you have a deposit of $1,127.39 in your account. Post it on. Sorry about that. Post it on such and such a date, and then give you the date, right? Or everybody bank is different, automated message, but you pretty much get where I'm going with it. Okay, so you can once again you can offer them different payment options and ask them what payment option would they prefer. Okay, again, make sure those invoices is there on time. Let me jump back on the questions here. Who decided payment? I went on to answer that. Let me see. What's up, Fabio? How do I handle people with bad attitudes? Like you said, these companies treat you like you at the bottom of the totem pole. Yep. Once they figure out your cleaning service, they do just because they look at the cleaning company as being just the bottom of these interruptions. I got weak signal setting. I guess I'm preaching the truth, and I don't. Having a problem, or somebody stuff. Sorry about that, but you want to your employees where they can contact you about any given thing, and then you take it up with the contact person. Don't challenge what the employee said. Like if an employee try to instruct you on what to do, and let's say you're the owner and you happen to be working within your own business, don't go back and forth with them. Don't go back and forth with the employee. Okay, take it up with your contact person. Now, if your contact person is disrespectful, then you, number one, don't embarrass the situation. Don't just go off in front of a lot of people. Okay, you pull that contact person to the side, and you have to have a one-on-one with them, man to man, man and woman. They have to understand where you're coming from. Okay, because you need the check, but you don't need the disrespect. Under no circumstances would I allow anybody to just blatantly disrespect school because I need the check. I can't do it. My pride won't let me do it. And I stick behind my employees. Employees complain, and you have pretty good employees. They show up, they do what they ask, you don't have any problems out of them, and then boom, all of a sudden you got this big problem. And why you're just now telling me if they haven't been doing this? They're picking. Okay, so once again, you call a meeting with your employee and the decision maker. Okay, your contact person. Again, don't deal with anybody on their lower end over there dealing, within their company. Don't deal with any associate, any sales rep, anybody on that level. You deal with your employee. You call a meeting with your employee and your decision maker, right? The person that's your contact person. Okay, and then the three of you guys meet and you come to a conclusion with whatever this problem is. Okay, you let them know what's fair. You let them know what the contract states. Okay, because sometimes they have you do stuff that's not even in the contract or in your agreement, or wasn't written up on your checklist, or whatever the case is. Okay, so that's why I like to have this paper trail. That's why I tell you paperwork means everything, because they will say, well, but they don't want to pay for you to do this. Okay, every little thing that you do takes more time away from you going to another site and completing another site, or doing, cleaning another site. You still got travel time to get there, and you still got to get there and to clean. So if they just keep throwing stuff on, and you keep accepting it, now the first time, cool. You go the extra mile, do it for them. If they say, well, can you do this for me? Normally, this is not a part of our job description, but yeah, sure, I'll go ahead and get it done for you. They ask you to do it again. Normally, this is not a part of our job description or, what we contract to do. But sure, I'll go ahead and do it for you. But if they keep making it ongoing, now you have to revisit the numbers. Because see, again, this is taken away from your travel time to get to your next site, your family, whatever appointments that you have, or taking away time to get the other site clean. Okay, because time is everything. Time is everything. Okay, so again, it's protocol, but you deal with them on a plan. Don't yell at them, don't curse them out, don't tell them what they can do with themselves. None of that. Okay, that's ghetto is very unprofessional. Okay, everybody have that ghetto in them. White, black, otherwise, whoever, Indian, whatever. Everybody have that spirit in them where they can just go off. Everybody. Okay, but it's how you deal with the situation. You conduct yourself as a professional and you handle yourself as a professional because they already looking at you on a lower level. They're already not taking you serious. Okay, so don't get into no disputes. Don't threaten to flat the tires. Don't threaten to blow up the place. Nothing like that. Just handle it on a very professional level, even if their voice is elevated. You might say, Mr. Smith, I don't know why you're yelling at me. I'm not yelling at you. And then you go into whatever the cause is or whatever the situation is. At that tone, well, get out of here. You guys can get out of here, this and this and that. Now, if they want to let you go, because they irritated, then there's nothing that you can do out of that, okay? Just go. Just go. Because you've been wanting to do something, right? So just go, okay? Give them a call back the next day. Hi, I'm Fabio with Hollywood Janitorial Service. I know we had a little disagreement. Is it okay if I come in and step in and talk to you? Because you want to clear this matter up, okay? You want to clear it up. So whether they do away with your company and professional level, okay? And if it's dealing with your employee, always bring your employee into it. So it won't be he say, she say. They can hear straight from the employee mouth in front of your contact person. Just tell your employee, hey, meet me there tomorrow about 12 noon. I have a meeting with them tomorrow at 12 noon. gmail.com. That's BOOK. F like Frank, B like boy, IOART@gmail.com. Book FabioHart@gmail.com. If you want to talk to me, maybe and tell my assistant, let me know so I can give you a call. Otherwise, she'll email you back and respond to whatever email you have. The only person that can stop you from starting up is you. If you play this video back, it can help dealing with accepting cash payment and dealing with voice payment sometime. Okay, take care. Bye.